Hi, I'm Daniel. In this video you're going to see a review about this particular LEGUANO barefoot shoe, the standard edition and the winter edition, plus a few tips on how to walk in barefoot shoes. If you haven't seen my video about barefoot shoes in general, you might want to check it out first. Otherwise, let's get started. The company LEGUANO was founded in Germany and began with the idea of a long-distance runner that he just had to walk and run barefoot. So they developed a shoe where this was possible. And by the way, this is not a sponsored video, I just like the brand and the product. I own both the regular and the winter version of the shoe, and I've been using them for 3 years on pretty much a daily basis. This is already my second pair and it's a little worn out right now. The fabric on top is a little damaged and you have to be a little careful with this material. I cannot recommend it in heavy rain. It gets wet pretty quickly, but it also dries up pretty quickly afterwards. Both are super flexible, and the regular version is a little more flexible than the winter version. As far as I know, the sole of every shoe is the same, and they're made up by all these rubber nubs, and they're designed to withstand glass shards and even nails. And if you try them on in the store, you can even walk over shards to test it out. They're supposed to be anti-slip or skid-proof, but for me this wasn't always the case. I find when the ground is wet, or when I'm riding on my bike and the pedal is a little wet, I tend to slip a little bit. But I've never slipped and fallen. That's a good thing. The winter edition. I bought these because in the winter my feet got a little bit too cold in the regular ones. As you can see, hopefully, these are filled with sheep wool inside, and that makes them super comfortable. I don't wear them if it's too far below zero, or I know that I will be standing around for a longer period of time, or if there's a lot of snow. Then you can really feel the cold from the ground creeping up, or they would get wet from the snow. In this situation my preferred shoe would be just a winter boot. But for normal weather in the winter, I would pick them. Well, there's not much to say about them other than when the regular LEGUANO shoe becomes too cold, this is a good option. And they really do what they're supposed to do. As far as the look of the shoe goes, people usually don't notice that I'm wearing barefoot shoes. And they're pretty surprised when I tell them. As far as I know, the company started out with just a sock and the sole, and I'm pretty happy they decided to develop regular shoes as well. I'm not a super big fan of the grayish silver sole because you can see it and it doesn't look like a regular shoe, which it isn't. But at the time when I bought them, the black version of the sole wasn't available. As far as I know, it is now. One question is socks or no socks. You can do both, of course, but I find without socks they are a little bit sticky inside and they tend to smell a little more. With socks I don't have any issues. So, for me it is socks. When I talk to others, I often get the question whether you can put orthotic insoles in the shoes. The question shouldn't be whether you can, but whether you should. And for me the answer is a definite no. You don't strap insoles under your feet when you walk around your apartment barefoot, do you? So if your goal is to be as barefoot as possible and to get the most out of your feet, you shouldn't need insoles. Insoles have a place in sports shoes when you haven't strengthened your feet enough to withstand some impact, or you have some stability issues. But your ultimate goal should be to strengthen your feet enough so that you're not reliant on insoles anymore. And walking around barefoot or in barefoot shoes is a good start for that. But if you're having any medical trouble or pain in this area and need specific advice, please go see a specialist for that. So what about these shoes? I've used them for 3 years now and I've loved them during that time. They really give you the feeling that your foot is only a millimeter away from the ground, and that is really what you're looking for in a barefoot shoe when you want to be as barefoot as possible. I bought a barefoot shoe from a different brand about a year ago and switched back and forth from occasion to occasion. The material of the new shoe is a little bit more sturdy and waterproof, and the sole is just a little bit thicker. This comes in handy when I have to stand a lot on my job or have to walk on the sidewalks. But if I'd go out in nature, I'd definitely choose the LEGUANO. I did, however, throw away my old running shoes and replace them with LEGUANO shoes. I use a midfoot technique.
A small warning.
If you consider switching from a regular running shoe to a barefoot running shoe with a midfoot or forefoot technique, please read up carefully on how to do this. For running and not walking, you need to adjust your feet really slowly to the new load. So in conclusion, this is a great barefoot shoe to have. It's really minimalistic and you won't notice much of it when you're wearing it, which is a good thing for barefoot shoes. But now, how do I walk in them? As I said in my previous video, heel pain can be an annoying issue. An asphalt street, a sidewalk, or a super hard flat surface is not natural and our foot is not designed to be on that all the time. Barefoot shoes on grass or moss are beautiful and you don't have to worry about your heel at all. As far as hard surfaces go, you really got two options. The heel strike. This part of the shoe touches the ground first. This maybe look like the way you walked before, but there's one important difference to it. With barefoot shoes, it would hurt if the heel just dropped to the ground uncontrolled. So the trick lies in the pelvis actually. Bring your heel to the ground slowly by controlling the movement with your pelvis. One way of exercising this is to walk barefoot in your apartment. If you hear your heel coming down with a bang, then you're not doing a good job. Try to make it as silent as possible. And also, your downstairs neighbors will thank you. The second one is forefoot or midfoot walking. This part or this part touch the ground first. When you walk like this, you feel a little bit like a ballet dancer. Now, the forefoot is the first part of the foot that touches the ground, and the heel is actually the last part. It's important to note that your heel should touch the ground eventually, because the idea is not that you only walk on your forefoot. In doing so, the kinetic energy is stopped by the arch of the foot and the calves, and not the heel. This way you can effectively reduce the stress on your heel while you are walking. You can mix these two styles if you want to. There's no harm in walking around with a midfoot technique and then going back to a heel strike after a few minutes, depending on the ground maybe. And if you look at them both, there is no true winner. There's not one that is best for everyone, so you choose what suits you the best. I personally use a heel strike, which is the most common. I tried using a forefoot techniques for a few days straight, but I found that my paces got shorter and my hips looked kind of funny. When you're walking with a forefoot style, you feel a little bit like a dancer and you kind of look like one. So that was it. If you liked this video, it would help me out a ton if you subscribe to the channel and gave this video a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, just ask them in the comments. Bye bye.